Hello, today we are talking about the Slay the Spire 2 Regent card pool. I recently finished my climb to and through Ascension 10, and this final run was the only run where I leaned into the colorless cards matter sub-theme. It was a bit of a unique run where I had 3 copies of Arsenal Plus, thanks to Frozen Egg, by the middle of Act 2. And then at the shop mid-act 2, I picked up Fisticuffs, which is like a 1-mana wallop, and really pops off here and buffs itself with the arsenals. I don't think you're going to end up in that often, but what I wanted to get into was the design of Regent, and there are some cards in the pool that are, let's say, close to unplayable at higher difficulty. I think Parry definitely stands out as maybe the worst card of the pool. For me, when I've played Sovereign Blade decks, I'm playing the blade itself once or twice per combat, and one of those plays will end the combat. So I think in a lot of cases, this is like worse than basic defend. I mean, at least it gets out of your deck. But Mabel had the idea on Discord that what if instead of giving you block when you play the sword, it gives you block when you forge, which I think is a great idea. A lot of what you're trying to do when you play these forge decks is to build up the sword while trying to survive. Obviously, you'd want to tune down the numbers if you're blocking on forging instead of playing Sovereign Blade. But that got me thinking, what if we approach Slay the Spire not with our player hats, but more with our designer hats? And I feel like when I've played, and maybe this is just kind of like a beginner restricted thinking, that I've been drawn really to the stars package where you get damage from Black Hole and Reflect and Dying Star give you kind of all the defense that you need to get through the run. Now, one of the reasons that I could do this so often, I think, all of my runs from Ascension 0 to 7 or 8 use part of this package, is that the game is easier on those difficulties. So if you have something that you like that you think is strong, you can force it a little bit. Whereas on the higher difficulties, I feel like a bit more have to take what's given to you and adapt that way. Now, when the character Regent was revealed in the Niao's letter back in December, I was really excited for this colorless cards matter sub-theme. I've been a bit disappointed. I don't think that I've ever even taken Supermassive as a card reward. And I want to see, can we design a card that pushes some of these underutilized themes in Regent? So the goal that I have is to design a card that helps out Sovereign Blade, the colorless cards, and some other under-supported stuff. Now, some of you might not know this about Sovereign Blade. If you upgrade it mid-combat, because it's not in your deck, you can't upgrade it at a campfire or anything, but if you upgrade it mid-combat, it drops the cost to 1, which is, I think, a pretty huge deal. And yeah, if you want to keep, for example, Parry the way it is or something like that, that having the ability to make it cost 1 more often would be useful. So I'm gonna take a card. I don't want to. I think generally with these card pools, you want to keep the size of the total pool kind of where it is. So I'm looking at a one in, one out approach where Patter is a card that's okay. I get the idea. There's some multi-attack stuff that benefits from Vigor. There's some AoE in the card pool, but I don't think anyone would miss it. So let's redesign it, and we're going to take a cue from Armaments. We're going to have it be a gain 8 block, and then instead of getting the Vigor 2, upgrade a colorless card in your hand. And now obviously, if you've taken any Sovereign Blade effects, this card has Retain, so you're going to always have a target for it for the first cycle through your deck. But what about after that? This is kind of dead text, and so that may have you looking into more colorless effects than just the blade. Now, the upgrade, again following Armaments, I would do upgrade all colorless cards in your hand. And you may think, probably I don't even have that many colorless cards in my hand. But sometimes with certain cards you do, and we're gonna try something a little weird. We're gonna look at Debris. Now, Debris is created by a couple attacks in the card pool, and it's kind of a slimed from Spire 1. But what if you could upgrade it? There is precedent. They have, and pardon my Photoshop skills here. I know this is bad. Spire 1 had Burn Plus, which obviously was bad for you. I guess it's weird from a design standpoint that, like, if we upgrade Debris, can we upgrade all statuses? How do we communicate that? But there is some like UI elements already that like guide you to that when you would play this version of Patter, that it then shows you like which cards are selectable in your hand. And if you have a Debris in your hand, that would then be selectable. And so maybe you think, what does that do if I click on it and learn that way? That's the one kind of clunky part of the design, but I really like what it does, is that it opens up new synergies with Crash Landing and Collision Course that, these are kind of designed as overstated attack cards. 9 for 0 or 21 AoE for 1 is way over the going rate, with the downside that you then have this Debris that you need to take care of somehow. But if we have a synergy card to pair that with, you can kind of see how you get drawn into this archetype a bit more, that maybe first you have a Sovereign Blade, then you take this new Patter as a way to make the blade better. And then once you have that, you're more open to these types of cards. And then once you take them, maybe you start to think, should I be upgrading Patter? And then that would also link into kind of the other colorless card generation that you get value out of this. And obviously the reason you would want to do this is not just to get these out of your hand, which is great, but also to pair with, let me get me out of the way, Arsenal, where all of a sudden your Crash Landing Patter combo is not only dealing 21 AoE, but also giving you, I don't know, 14 strength or something. And to me, that sounds like a sweet synergy, a fun alternative way to play the Regent. And I know things are still in early access, so I assume it's like up in the air a little bit, open for change. Let me know what you think, and if you want to see more of these kind of design analysis videos, we can make that happen.